For this video, we're going to talk about area of polygons and circles. The objectives are find the area of polygons, use the area of polygons to find missing bases or heights, and also find the area and circumference of circles. We're going to do these in separate videos. Right now, we're going to talk about the area of parallelograms. And here's what a parallelogram is. If you remember when we studied quadrilaterals, parallelograms are quadrilaterals that have two pairs of parallel sides. To find the area of the parallelogram, we use the same exact formula as we do for a rectangle. It's base times the height. This here is the base. The base can be either side of the parallel side. So this can be a base. This is also considered base. Remember, opposite sides in a parallelogram are congruent. Okay, and the height, we talked about this in class. Height is considered the segment that goes from one vertex of the parallelogram to the opposite side, and it's perpendicular to that opposite side. So this would be the height. Notice in these two figures that I can measure the height inside of the parallelogram, or I can also do it outside of the parallelogram. It's the same thing. If I extend the base like they did here, and I draw a segment from this vertex perpendicular to that extended base, this is also considered the height. Notice if I draw the height in here, I would draw a perpendicular segment to the side opposite of that to the side opposite of this vertex here. And notice that this segment that I just drew here, this segment forms a rectangle. I don't know if you see that. This forms a rectangle here. So this height is the same exact measurement as this height here, because I formed a rectangle and opposite sides are congruent on a rectangle. Okay? So that's why I can have a height outside or inside. It's going to measure the same thing. Let's do an example. Find the area of this parallelogram. Remember, the formula for the area of a parallelogram is base times the height. So what is my base for this figure? My base is 9 meters. And what is my height? My height is 6 meters. Notice that this segment is perpendicular to the extension of the base. So that would be your height. If you draw your height from this vertex, a segment perpendicular to this base, like that, this would also measure 6 meters, okay? So in this case, my height is 6. And 9 times 6 is 54. And that's your area. And remember your units. This is squared meters. Why is it squared meters? Because 9 meters times 6 meters, we multiply 9 times 6, you get 54. We multiply m times m, you get m squared. Okay? So there's the area for this parallelogram. Let's do another example. Find the area of this parallelogram. We have a base of 11 meters and we have a height of 7 meters. Okay, so very simply, you take the formula for the area of a parallelogram. Area is equal to the base, which is 11, and the height, which is 7, and this equals 77 squared millimeters. That's your area. Okay? Now in this case, I'm given the area, and I have to find the height. Okay? So it's a little bit different. We always start with the formula. Always start with your formula for area, base times height. Now let's plug in all the information we do have. I have area, it's 78. So let me write, instead of A, I'm going to write 78 equals. I have the base is 12. So 12. And the height I don't have. So I'm going to leave that as H. And now if I want to know what H is, this is simply an equation and I solve for H. How do I isolate H? Well, I divide both sides by 12 And that gives you h equals 6 would give you 72, and 6/12. This would be 6 and 6/12, which is the same thing as 6.5. That's h. And we always write our variable on the left side. So this is 6.5, and remember your units. 6.5 feet. You can also write h is 6.5 feet. Okay? I have 3 examples here, or 3 problems for you to do. If you want to try them on your own, go ahead and then come back and see the answer. For this one here, I have an area of 72. They want me to find h. So let's write our formula. A is equal to B times h. I plug in the information that I have. Area is 72, base is 12, and the height we're going to look for. So I divide by 12 on both sides. H is equal to 6. 6 what? 6 inches. And you can go back and check and make sure that you do get 72. Let's see. If I have a base of 12 and a height of 6, then the area would be 12 times 6, which is 72. So your height is 6 inches. For this one, I don't have the base. I do have the height. So let's write our formula. Area is equal to base times height. Let's plug in the information we have. Area is 30. Base, I don't know what that is, but I know it's times 5. Now, how do I isolate B? Well, I divide by 5 on both sides, and I get that 6 is equal to B, or B is equal to 6 meters. So that's what this base is, 6 meters. Okay? And you can check. 6 times 5, 30. So that checks out. And for this last one here, I'm looking for the height, and they give me the base, which is 7, and the area is 28. Let's write our formula. Area is equal to base times height. Area is 28 equal to 7 times h. I divide by 7 on both sides. H is equal to 4 centimeters. And there you have it. Now you know how to find the area of a parallelogram, and you also know how to find a missing base or missing height when given the area. My next video is going to be on the area of a rhombus. Okay, so for the next video, we'll study that. Have fun with this.